But we're going to move on to our next topic, and it's all about my favourite franchise, Harry Potter, and Harry Potter's Rupert Grint still ready to return as Ron Weasley. Rupert Grint, who first appeared as Ron Weasley in 2001 Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, says he's not ruling out...
Get that American crap.
See that?
Yeah.
And he's not ruling out a return to this role.
Chance.
Of course he's not. Of course he's not going to do that. Speak to the other people that went on to better success and see if they've got the same answer. But speaking in an interview with Comic Book, Grint said that after nearly a decade he''d be open to the idea of returning to the Wizarding World. Aside from the Fantastic Beasts prequels, which star an entirely new cast, the film series has been dormant. There's no word on whether a story featuring the grown-up original trio was headed to the big screen anytime soon, but Grint is ready for it if it comes, and we can check out his full quote. I'm just wondering if there's one in there from, what's her face, Emily...
Oh, Emma Watson.
Emma Watson,
you better not say Emily, Stephen. Yeah. She hates that, apparently.
Yeah, Emma Watson, who's went on to do bigger and better things. Beauty and the Beast. This is what you had to say anyway. I'm being a little bit hard on him here. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, never say never. I would never say absolutely no. It was. I think I've read this quote before. I'm getting a thing with a deja vu here. I'm sure we've covered this before, John. Or maybe he's just been asked this question. This is that sort of.
They all have
sort of cookie cutter sort of answer he gives. So he says absolutely no. It was a huge part of my life, and I was very fond of that character and the story. So yeah, I mean, I'd be up for it at the right time. I don't know what capacity that would be, but yeah, we'll see.
Is he teasing a potential new Harry Potter franchise set after the events of Deathly Hallows?
Well,
after Fantastic Beasts is finished, is he
John, I
teasing
think I don't know if it's fair to say, John, but the franchise is certainly in a different place than it was 10 years ago. Certainly, J.K. Rowling.
I wish I kept the image up.
J.K. Rowling is certainly in a different place than she was 10 years ago.
She's revealed herself to be a transphobe.
Yeah, with her statements, but which we've never really went into, but I don't really want to get into that, to be honest with you. That's her bag, not ours. But what's your views, John? Firstly, would you like to see this? And secondly, do you think it's a possibility?
Steve, I'd love to see it. I loved the Harry Potter franchise. I know you don't share the same love, but I kind of grew up. It was all the storm when I was younger. I had the games. I've read the books many times. I've watched the movies many times. And I like the characters. So I'd like to see these characters. I can't recall the actual names now. It's been so long, but I think they called it. It may have been Severus. Was it Severus Potter? Was that Harry's son? I know that he had a son, and Hermione and Ron had, I think, a daughter.
I only found out, John, that shows you how far I'm away from this franchise. I didn't know they two hooked up. I was quite shocked at that.
A lot of people were shocked at it, Stephen. But something that a lot of people wanted, and other people didn't want so much.
The gingers out there wanted it. Yeah. Give them some hope.
I says though, Stephen, I thought Rupert was cool as hell in the middle movies, man. The first movie's a bit gonkish, although very extroverted and bubbly sort of young actor.
Fresh face,
he got a little bit more shyer and introverted as the years went on, but he was a cool as hell dude, man, in the mid sort of movies. I'd say Order of the Phoenix, round about that era hairdo, Beatles-esque hairdo. And listen, he is a really good actor. I'm going to quickly briefly, same word, I'm doing a certain individual there, and I'm going to quickly go through his filmography, because there was one movie he starred in with Bill Nye that I absolutely love, man. I'm trying to remember where it was. Cherry Bomb. Brilliant movie. Okay. And I know he's went on and done some stage work and stuff like that. He was in a World War II movie about planes as well. I recall he was in it with some Irish actor, curly-haired guy who, I know his face, but I do not know his name. So he has, it may have been Cross of Honour incidentally, it may not have been, but look, he's done a lot of interesting movies, but nothing's really, it was Cross of Honour, nothing's really got to the heights of the Harry Potter franchise. He's never really went on to be a household name in sort of A-list terms in acting, but he's done stage work, and he's a decent actor. He's got it in him to do very well. I'm trying to remember this guy's name. I cannot see the chap's name at all, man. And you know what? It doesn't even matter. And look, he's getting to that age now where it may be more natural to do a prequel, or a sequel, sorry, to the events of Harry Potter, because he's, 31 or something like that, 32, he's just a little bit older than me. So he's starting to get to the stage where he could have a child, and we could be getting into that era. So within the next 5 years or so, I could absolutely see J.K. Rowling maybe starting to write the treatments for new movies. I don't think she'll write new books. I think she's been pretty steadfast. She's not going to write new Harry Potter books. So I would like to see it, but only if you can get the likes of Daniel Radcliffe back, and he's doing a little bit better than Rupert just now in terms of acting. He's done Broadway, he's done stage work, but he's been in some really good movies too, likes of Horn and the Swiss Army Man. He's done some cool little movies that have sort of maybe, I don't know, tested his acting range. If you can get Emma Watson back, I know Tom Felton wants to come back. It played Draco Malfoy. He showed interest in coming back. He's a great dude as well. Love that guy, man. He gets some shit on Twitter recently. I don't know what that was about, but he's a good actor. Matthew Lewis, get all the old gang back, man, and make it work. But I think they'd be in trouble because there's a sizable proportion of the fan base not really happy with JK now. Because, and who can blame him? This was a woman who penned a series of novels about characters, people who are different from the vast majority of the population being shunned, and then finding a world where they were accepted for who they were, being different, quirky, and she's doing that shit on Twitter. Yeah. Irony of it all, yeah. It's a bit, from her of all people, it's a bit strange. So I can understand the hatred.
As I said, John, it's not a franchise.
She's anti-independence as
it's
well.
It's not really well, that's it as well, yeah. But listen, they've all got their own agendas, but as you know, I'm not really too familiar with the franchise or Fantastic Beasts for that matter. I take it, does she get any involvement in the writing of those films, that franchise? Fantastic
Beasts, yeah. I think she writes a script.
Right, okay. Well, that's what I was going to say.
She write the script for that stage play as well. It was actually based on the events of her children.
Is it still 5 films there? That they've mapped out, and they're not doing any more after that.
I don't think they're doing any more steam, so we're 2 in.
I'm just thinking of timelines here, because obviously once that's done, then she could have time to start thinking about screenplays for.
Well, you'd be looking at least the next 5-6 years until she can even think of starting to do it. So it's going to be a while.
Watch this space. DC and Marvel crossovers now. Harry Potter's return. It's all speculation, John.